What's going on, everybody? We are back for another edition of the history of AFL and Magic. This time we're going to take a look at Madden 11 Season 3, the third season of AFL in total. And this is going to go down as one of my favorite seasons in AFL history because we had been talking about how AFL lacked talent, lacked core owners, and you talked about early on how for us to survive, we really needed to pluck guys from the other leagues we were in, from the Madden cities, from all the leagues that we were around. We got some guys from BDFL, but with all of us being in different leagues, we need to make sure we tried to get some talent, and we added some serious talent in Madden 11 Season 3, guys that would go on to be staple core owners in AFL history. Here's some of the names that we added in Season 3. We added Kay Wilson. We added... What's that?
Hey, he was a hard get, man.
Ridge put the full court press on for K. Will. K. Will did not want to join our league. And then K. Will was sitting in Madden City chat one day, which was Trump's league at the time. And
By himself.
And he was sitting there by himself, and Ridge went over there because I think Ridge was in the league. He's like, hey, what's going on, man? And finally he just talked him into joining, and we were excited because we knew he was an awesome owner at that point in time. And a lot of us were in Madden City, so we knew that K. Will was not only an awesome owner, but he was going to up the talent level of AFL. So that was a huge get for us, and he fit in right away. Other guys we added that season, Joker, Prime.
Man, what was Joker back then, like 14?
Jeez, he's forever 17 in my mind. So I don't know. I guess he's in college now. That's kind of what I've heard through the grapevine. So
Let's say he's like 20.
Yeah, 20. So
we're looking at he's probably like 15.
15. Wow, 15-year-old Joker. Then we added Prime, who obviously has become one of the most core guys of AFL, one of our favorites. We added Rilo.
Oh man, Rilo. You ever just sit and just talk to and PM with that guy?
That guy is a little out there, but he is one of the most chill guys in the history of AFL.
I mean, some of the stories he tells, man. It's like, I was working at the strip club and this dude came in and I had to bounce him. It's like, maybe... Man, I don't want this to be somber. Never mind, go on.
Other guys we added that were noteworthy include Dom. Dom was here for Madden 11, Madden 12, Madden 13, and part of Madden 25, and slowly but surely, faded away. But became a good owner. Four different Maddens. There's nothing to sneeze at there. So just a lot of talent. And Dom's another guy, kind of like K. Will, like a Joker. Even though we didn't know this at the time with Joker, we knew it with Dom and K. Will, because Dom was actually in BDFL, but he didn't come over in the AFL transfer. We knew Dom and K. Will really upped the talent level of AFL. We didn't know that Joker and Prime did. And honestly, at the time, Prime kind of was mediocre at first. He's one of those guys that's kind of slowly gotten better, and now he's one of the better owners in the league. But at the time, he was pretty much an 8-8 guy. So here we are, Season 3, and Ridge takes home the hardware again, gets his second Super Bowl win in 3 years, and he beats K. Will, who makes it all the way to the Super Bowl with the Colts in his very first season in AFL. And the thing I remember most about this season, with the exception obviously of the guys we added looking back in retrospect, was I think this was the very first of many times that we had a good forward-thinking mindset with AFL. I think we had guys that understood that we need to be a little different than other leagues to stand out. I think that might be the BDFL part of us where we saw they had a radio show. And one thing that we started doing in Season 3, if you played Madden 11, you know that the Connected Careers site, it wasn't even Connected Careers at the time, it was just easports.com, they had this option where you could upload highlights from your game to the site, and then you could view them as a video, and it was a pretty cool deal. It was just like the replay after the game. So you would just go in and do the replay, save it as a highlight, and it would save it to the website. And what I started doing was making guys upload highlights. And the purpose of that was I would get the video, and then I would screen capture part of the video, and it would give me a live in-game photo of somebody scoring a touchdown, catching a pass, just any kind of a highlight. And then what I would do is I would take that photo and write a quick game story. So, like K. Will, in one of the most infamous photos, had this quarterback named Quigley who had the the most feminine looking high five you'll ever see. But I caught him in the act of giving a high five, and it was like Colts dominate whoever, and Quigley steals the show. And it was just little things like that that made guys feel like, okay, I'm not just playing a game here, I'm actually part of something. And I think that was the first time that guys started to feel like, all right, well, I'm starting to think this is something that might have some legs. And I think it was things like that, and then we're going to get into other things like Ridge building a website. And when we get into Madden 12, we're going to talk about, radio shows and the evolution of that and the podcast and all of that. But this was, to me, the highlight, guys being willing to do that, because you can have all these ideas if you want to. If you don't have owners that are willing to take the extra time to do that, it doesn't matter. So to me, this was the first sign that we might be on to something. So we upgraded the talent pool considerably, and then we added the highlights, which allowed us to have the pictures of the games. So to me, Madden 11 Season 3 was the most pivotal season for the growth of AFL. Magic, do you have any memories from this season?
I beat K-Will.
You beat K-Will?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this might be my year. This K-Will guy is good. It wasn't my year.
It wasn't your year. Poor Magic. I remember at the time not knowing anything about Joker or Prime, and then I remember Joker taking over the Eagles from Catlike, and he pushed Ridge to overtime in the playoffs, and then we were all like, uh-oh, we may have added somebody good here, which we obviously did. So just real quick, let's run through the playoff bracket just to hit that home. So again, the division winners were Hadley's Miami Dolphins, Swag's Cincinnati Bengals take the division for the third year in a row, K-Will's Indianapolis Colts take over the AFC South and dethrone Goutman, and RVD for the third year in a row dominates the AFC West. And then in the NFC East, Mustang's first year of not winning the division, it went to Joker and the Eagles. My Lions win the North again. And then Dom's Buccaneers come in and win the South. And Ridge, of course, old reliable, wins the West. The wild card teams in the NFC, the Buffalo Bills in West, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Goof, the Minnesota Vikings and SJR, and the Seattle Seahawks and Turner. So real quick here, you can see how things went down. West beat Hadley in the first round, then got smashed by Swag, setting up a Swag versus K-Will AFC title game. Swag beat RVD in the divisional round, who beat Goof in the wild card round. And then Swag ended up losing to K-Will, and that game was streamed. So Swag was the second streamer along with Drop. So Drop and Swag were actually the first two guys to stream because they had the system set up. So that was the first playoff game, I believe, that was streamed in AFL history. And then I remember at the time kind of hoping Swag would win because it meant we would get a bowl streamed, and it would have set up a rematch of Super Bowl I. But K-Will got it done, went on to take on Ridge. Ridge's path to the Super Bowl, we mentioned he beat Joker in the divisional round. We finally got our Ridge versus Josh matchup in the NFC title game, and Ridge beat me by, I think, 10 points. Goes on to smash K-Will. And what I remember about not only my game against Ridge, but K-Will's game against Ridge, was this is where the looping defensive end came into play. Do you remember that, Magic?
It doesn't.
That's where Ridge would take his defensive lineman and loop around in like a huge half circle, like 5 yards away from the offensive lineman, and to where the offensive lineman wouldn't even see him, and he'd just get to your quarterback. It was impressive to watch and frustrating to see at the same time. So again, once we got to Madden 12, we made a rule about the looping defensive end. So there it is. Ridge gets his second Super Bowl. We add a ton of talent to AFL, and we have 3 seasons in the books, and we are ready to go to AFL Madden 11 Season 4, and we're feeling really good about ourselves. But as you're going to find out on the next show, there's always a wrinkle when things are going good, and we hit a very big wrinkle in Season 4, and we look forward to talking about that next time on AFL History.